The 1870s in America, a time of unprecedented ambition and dizzying wealth. It was the Gilded Age, where fortunes were made overnight, and the pursuit of the next big score was a national obsession. Railroads crisscrossed the continent, industry boomed, and speculative fever ran rampant. For those with capital, the American West, still largely untamed, whispered promises of untold riches. Everyone from tycoons to ordinary citizens dreamed of striking it rich, leaving them vulnerable to the most audacious schemes. Into this environment stepped two unassuming yet incredibly cunning men, Philip Arnold and John Slack. They were drifters, former miners, and natural storytellers, with a talent for spinning tales of frontier adventure. But beneath their rustic charm lay a sophisticated understanding of human greed and a plan to exploit it on an unprecedented scale. They understood that in a world eager for discovery, the greatest treasures often lay not in the ground, but in the minds of hopeful investors. Their grand plan began to unfold in the summer of 1871. Arnold and Slack claimed to have stumbled upon an extraordinary secret while prospecting in the remote, desolate wilds of the American West. They described a place where diamonds, emeralds, rubies, and sapphires lay scattered across the ground, just waiting to be picked up. A veritable gem-studded paradise, untouched by human hands, promising riches beyond the wildest dreams of even the wealthiest men in the East. To make their story believable, they didn't just tell tales, they provided proof. Arnold and Slack returned from their supposed discovery with a pouch full of raw, uncut gems. These weren't just any gems. They were an assortment of diamonds, emeralds, and sapphires of various sizes and qualities, carefully selected and strategically planted. They showed them to initial, smaller investors, creating just enough buzz to start the rumor mill grinding and lay the groundwork for a much larger deception. Word of the discovery slowly made its way east, reaching the ears of powerful financiers and industrialists eager to diversify their vast fortunes. The promise of an American diamond field was irresistible, a romantic notion that blended perfectly with the era's adventurous spirit and speculative appetite. Arnold and Slack knew exactly how to play on these desires, presenting themselves as simple prospectors seeking fair compensation for their world-changing find, not as cunning con artists.
Among those who heard the whispers was none other than Baron Rothschild, patriarch of the famous European banking family. His name alone carried immense weight and instant credibility. Other prominent figures included the founder of the New York Tribune, Horace Greeley, and General George McClellan, the former Civil War commander. Their interest wasn't just a validation for the conmen, it was a powerful endorsement that would soon unleash a flood of investment and public excitement. With such powerful backing, the next step was inevitable. A formal enterprise, the New York and San Francisco Mining Company, was swiftly established. Its shares were sold on the promise of boundless wealth, based on the discovery of the diamond fields. Investors, blinded by the potential riches and swayed by the prominent names already involved, eagerly bought in, pouring millions of dollars into a venture that existed more in fantasy than in reality. To further legitimize the scheme, the investors insisted on an independent expert assessment. They hired Henry Janin, a highly respected and experienced mining engineer. Janin was considered the best in his field, a man whose word could make or break a mining venture. He was tasked with visiting the site and verifying Arnold and Slack's claims, a crucial step that investors believed would fully secure their investment and prove the field's authenticity. Janin journeyed to the remote location, guided by Arnold and Slack. He spent several days inspecting the site, finding precisely what the conmen had planted, diamonds and other gems. His report, confirming the existence of a vast diamond field, was exactly what the investors wanted to hear. Janin was reportedly paid an enormous fee of $20,000, an amount that, in retrospect, casts a long shadow of doubt on his impartiality and thoroughness. With Janin's glowing report, the company's stock soared. Public excitement reached a fever pitch. Newspapers trumpeted the discovery, hailing it as a testament to American ingenuity and the endless possibilities of the West. Everyone wanted a piece of the action. The prospect of America rivaling South Africa's diamond output filled investors with a profound sense of national pride and an even greater hunger for the anticipated profits.
However, not everyone was convinced. Whispers of skepticism began to circulate, particularly among experienced gem merchants. They noted the unusual mix of raw diamonds, emeralds, and rubies, a combination rarely, if ever, found naturally in the same deposit. The sheer volume and variety seemed almost too perfect. These early doubters questioned the speed of the validation and the lack of truly independent oversight, sensing something was amiss beneath the glittering facade. One of these skeptics was a brilliant young geologist named Clarence King. Fresh off an ambitious geological survey of the 40th parallel, King was renowned for his sharp intellect and meticulous scientific approach. He had heard the news of the diamond fields with a growing sense of unease. The details simply didn't add up, challenging his understanding of geological formations and the natural distribution of gemstones. He felt compelled to investigate further. King, unlike Janin, approached the problem with a pure scientific curiosity, unburdened by the pressures of investors or the promise of a hefty fee. He began his investigation by studying the geology of the alleged diamond field region, cross-referencing maps and reports. His research immediately revealed inconsistencies with known diamond-bearing formations worldwide, strengthening his conviction that the discovery was far too good to be true and merited a personal visit. In the autumn of 1872, Clarence King, along with a small team, embarked on a clandestine journey to the remote diamond fields. They traveled secretly, knowing that a public inquiry might alert the perpetrators. Their trek through the rugged terrain was arduous, but King's determination was unwavering. He was committed to uncovering the truth, no matter how inconvenient or scandalous it might prove to be for the powerful men involved. Upon reaching the site, King and his team immediately began a detailed geological survey. It didn't take long for King's keen eye to spot irregularities. He noted distinct differences in the cutting and quality of the raw gems, inconsistencies that suggested an unnatural origin. More tellingly, he found cut diamonds, clearly commercially processed, embedded in rock crevices, a glaring sign of deliberate planting by human hands, not natural geological processes.
The definitive evidence came when King noticed a tiny, almost imperceptible detail: the presence of diamonds from various parts of the world all mixed together. Brazil, South Africa, India, each region has unique diamond characteristics, and finding them all in one natural deposit was geologically impossible. It was the smoking gun. Arnold and Slack had simply purchased cheap, rough diamonds from gem markets and scattered them, hoping no one would look too closely. With irrefutable proof of the hoax, Clarence King returned east and delivered his shocking findings to the investors. The revelation was a bombshell. On November 12, 1872, King publicly announced that the magnificent American diamond fields were nothing but an elaborate fraud. The news sent shockwaves through the financial world, turning jubilation into utter disbelief and then outrage as the full extent of the deception became clear. The market reacted instantly and violently. Shares in the New York and San Francisco mining company plummeted, becoming worthless overnight. Investors from the most prominent tycoons to smaller shareholders saw their fortunes vanish. The dreams of boundless wealth shattered into a million pieces, leaving behind a bitter taste of betrayal and colossal financial losses. The grand promises of the Gilded Age had once again proven to be a double-edged sword. Philip Arnold and John Slack, the architects of this dazzling deception, initially vanished with their ill-gotten gains. However, justice, or at least a form of it, eventually caught up. Slack was arrested and briefly imprisoned, while Arnold managed to negotiate a settlement, returning a significant portion of his fraudulent profits to avoid a longer prison sentence. Their grand scheme ultimately crumbled, but not before they had made fools of some of America's smartest men. The financial losses were staggering. Baron Rothschild reportedly lost a substantial sum, though for a man of his wealth it was more an embarrassment than a ruin. Other investors, less wealthy, faced significant hardship. The incident served as a stark reminder that even with vast resources and influential connections, the allure of easy money could blind even the most seasoned financial minds to glaring red flags and obvious deception.
The personal embarrassment for those involved was immense. Their judgment had been called into question, their reputations tarnished. They had fallen for a basic yet brilliantly executed swindle.
This public humiliation, perhaps more than the financial losses, served as a profound lesson in the perils of confirmation bias and the critical importance of independent, skeptical inquiry rather than simply relying on convenient expert validation. The Great Diamond Hoax permanently damaged the credibility of Henry Yonan and cast a shadow of doubt over the pronouncements of other experts in the speculative age. It underscored the vulnerability of even the most sophisticated financial systems to well-executed fraud, particularly when fueled by a collective hunger for quick riches. It taught investors a harsh lesson about the necessity of rigorous due diligence, a practice that gained crucial importance in the aftermath. Ultimately, the Great Diamond Hoax became a classic cautionary tale in American financial history. It exposed the raw, untamed greed of the Gilded Age and the constant tension between frontier myth and hard, undeniable truth. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of human gullibility and the cunning of con artists who masterfully exploit our deepest desires for wealth and status, regardless of the era. The story of the fake diamond fields reminds us that while the landscape of finance has changed dramatically, the core human elements remain constant. The lure of easy money, the trust placed in authority, and the desire to believe in extraordinary possibilities continue to shape markets today. The Gilded Age's lessons in skepticism and critical evaluation are as relevant now as they were over 150 years ago. The Great Diamond Hoax ultimately proves one hard truth, that while fortunes can be made by spotting genuine opportunities, even greater fortunes can be lost when the pursuit of wealth blinds us to the most basic realities. It's a powerful reminder that in the glittering world of finance, sometimes the most valuable gem of all is a healthy dose of skepticism. Stay curious, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next one.